Hello ladies and gents, Romie Reviews here. Please like, comment, subscribe. This is my review for The Haves and the Have-Nots. Who cares about the episode title? Who cares about whether it's episode 30, 31, 29? Let's just get to the mess. So this episode starts off with Catherine. She's in bed with her new boo. Yes, that's her manager at her hotel. And they're talking. They're talking about a lot of things. They're talking about how he feels like she deserves a good man that's going to treat her well. I'm thinking, wait a minute. So, oh yeah, she did let me know that Jim is a philanderer and he knows. Okay, so it makes sense. It makes sense. But he's trying to go and smooze her and she's kind of believing it. She's kind of hearing it, but she has other things to do. So she wants to go and get out of there, but her earring is missing. Her earring is missing and she freaks out because she's like, it's $10,000. And he said, oh, so then I'm thinking that maybe he went and stole it. But I said, that's just odd. It doesn't make any sense. She knows she walked in with those expensive earrings. So they found it, but it was behind this, behind the lamp, what is that thing called? The piece of furniture is what we'll call it. And it was disgusting. Whatever Catherine saw, she was disgusted. So she told him, what type of hotel are you running? What the cleaning staff is disgusting. They're not doing their job. What are you doing? And I said, oh, so Catherine, you just got, you know, some tail and now you're back to being old and crotchety. And so then she was like, oh, I apologize. Oh, I'm sorry. Although she said, okay, I'm going to go, but I'm going to get someone here to go and, you know, do this properly. But he wanted to keep her earrings to go and clean them. He said, oh, I'll have them cleaned. I'm thinking this guy may go and have them switched out because if I were him, that's what I would do. I mean, as far as being a scammer. But, so he's going to have them steamed. Now, after that happens, Catherine calls Hannah and checks on Hannah. Hannah said, look, I'm going to go with my son. We're going to go to the bank and transfer the money to the appropriate account. She said, oh, okay, great, I'll meet you there. Now, that doesn't happen. What does happen is Catherine offers Hannah a new job. She said, well, aside from going and, I guess, being the supervisor at my house, can you do the same thing at the hotel? Because it's disgusting. And I need someone who I can trust, who can essentially whip the cleaning staff into shape. She didn't use those words, but that's essentially what she meant. And my whole thing is, I love how at first I was really here for Hannah, Hannah going and taking the opportunities that was being presented to her. But now I kind of feel like Hannah is still like the glorified cleaning woman. And again, there would be nothing wrong with that if it wasn't for this family, if it wasn't for this situation, if it wasn't for this dynamic. She's slowly moving up, but I almost wish that she just took the money that Catherine was going to give her and just move on with her life because, but I respect it. She worked for it. So at the end of the day, no one can say that she didn't work for what she has. Once we get through that, then Catherine, when she's waiting for the elevator, ding, that's when Candace comes. And Candace was ready. Candace was pissed. Candace said, oh, Catherine said, oh, it's the whore number 9. And that's when they had their back and forth. That's when the episode started to pick up because it took a while. I said, come on now, this is taking too long. You know, Catherine is saying, oh my gosh, look at the whore, look at the prostitute. Candace said, oh, are you talking about yourself? Because you're here, I'm leaving. And she said, oh, are you? Oh, you stay at this hotel? You know I'm the manager here. Do I care that you're a manager here? You should care that you're the manager here. How can you afford to be here? And that's what she said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about me. Why don't you just worry about your lack of this and that and your husband and you can't get you. And they're being so petty towards each other. I loved it. And it's been such a long time that they've had any type of verbal altercation. So I really loved it. Until Candace was like, look, I have to go and do something else. So see ya. I'm looking at Candace like, Candace, you won. Because Catherine was pissed. Catherine was pissed. She hit the... What'd she hit? She hit the sidewall. I'm thinking, Catherine, come on now. Catherine, come on. So David is talking to Jeffrey. Some of the things that they talk about is that David feels a certain way that Jeffrey told the feds about Veronica and what Veronica did. And he said that Veronica is still smart. Your mother's still smart. She'll find a way to get out of this. She won't leave a trail and a trace of evidence. It is so beautiful outside to me. I love this type of weather. Anyway, while that's happening, we have Jeffrey saying, look, at the end of the day, I just want to make sure that Mom, that I'm done with her. And it's like, are you sure? Because David wants Jeffrey to go and find out some information on Erica, see if he can dig anything up. I'm thinking, well, it's either you're going to be very disappointed once you find out that information, or you're not going to find out anything, because Erica actually did her job and made sure that her tracks were well hidden. Not only that, they talk about Justin. They talk about how David doesn't want Jeffrey dealing with Justin because Justin's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. He's too intermingled into everything. Speaking of Justin, David also talks about, hey, so what's the whole thing with you and the nurse, Matt? And long story short, David knew about the Matt situation and actually had Matt go and this happens all the time, where nurses get hooked up with the family member of one of their patients because they're there all day and all night. So when are they going to have time for a love life? And so if Maddie already felt a certain way about Jeffrey, it didn't take much nudging. Jeffrey's just like, look, let me do me, let me handle me. I'm thinking, Jeffrey, he let you do that, and you stabbed your mother, you end up with Justin, you're friends with Candace. No, your father needs to interject and intervene at this point. Then Jeffrey actually went on a lunch date in the hotel with Maddie. And, well, his name is Madison. I'm calling him Maddie. But it was going well. Maddie is swooning over Jeffrey, and Jeffrey's loving every minute of it, but trying to act coy and say, Jeffrey, you're a bird. You are a bird. Go and accept this. Let your inner bird come out and go and accept this. Dang, I still have that scar from when my... Anyway. While that's happening, guess who walks up? Because Maddie talks about how that officer... do you not want to talk about certain things because of the investigation? What investigation? Well, the officer went and said that you were being investigated. And I was like, I'm not being investigated. And that's when Justin comes along. It's like, oh, him. And it's like, oh, do you two have something going? And I loved during this entire scene where Justin actually sat down. And I said, dude, you're in the hospital and you're being pretty loud and at least verbally aggressive, and no one's really paying attention. I said, this is so unrealistic. But the main point is that Maddie didn't back down, because Justin talked about how I called you, and he said, oh, well, oh, is this your number? I'm sorry, I don't answer to strangers. I don't know you. And so then it's just like, so there's no investigation, huh? It's like, well, look. And then Jeffrey said, I'm here with him just talking because, you know, my dad's upstairs healing. It's like, yeah, I know. So here's how this goes. Why don't you go and stay here? I'll go upstairs. Maddie said, look, my lunch break is over, so I'm leaving too. And I just love the fact that Maddie the entire time didn't back down. So now we move on from that to Derek and Hannah. Lord, Derek's getting on my nerves. Derek is getting on my nerves. I understand the Lord said when you have a good thing going, hold on to it for dear life. You know, obviously not those words, but, and that's what Derek is doing. Derek is saying, you know, do you want me to wake up Benny? I said, wake up Benny? Benny does not want some grown man waking him up. His own father, his own daddy, screwed him over. He doesn't care about these. Anyway, we have that. And then while all of that's going on, because Hannah said, no, I'll let me go and check your car. You know, I'll put gas in it if you need gas. And I said, he's really a good guy. But still, this stuff with Veronica, we don't know the details yet. All we know is it's going to come back around. So he goes and leaves. Benny comes out, and Benny doesn't want to go and give back the money. He feels like, look, why do we need to give it back? We can split it. We can do this. We can do that. Hannah said, I don't steal. I don't kill. I don't, well, maybe kill. But I don't steal. I don't steal. You have been hanging around with your sister too much. You've been hanging around with Candace too much, and you're learning her ways. And that was the thing I was afraid of. You can't take the quick, easy route in life. When you do things like that, bad comes back onto you. I'm trying to show you through example the ways to handle things. We're giving them that money back. And then when she told Benny to go and get his wallet, I said, watch, Benny's going to go and leave his ID. He's going to go and leave his ID. So remember to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe and come back. That he can't go and sign on the dotted line when they're at the bank. But after that, so now they're at the bank. Well, actually, or did they go to the bank afterwards? Or I'm gonna talk about Veronica and the Hitman, because this one, yeah, let's go to Veronica next. I don't know why I did these kind of out of order. Or did I? Yeah, I partially did this out of order. Jeez. Veronica and the Hitman, he's still around her house, just casually looking, I guess keeping a bird's eye on, okay, so this is going on here, this is going on there. Because remember, she needs to keep her friends close, her enemies closer, and her Hitman closest. Because she's not done. She actually tells him that, hey, there's this kid named RK. And I said, uh-oh, what about RK? He's going to befriend my son, Jeffrey. I want you to kill off RK. What? Yes. Just like what Candace said, you need to watch out for her. Veronica is demonica. She's too much. Out to random TV reviews. Demonica is the devil. Maybe James Caldwell probably calls her that too. I don't know. But Demonica's the devil. And she's doing Lucifer's work. She has decided that she's going to frame RK's death on Jeffrey so that Jeffrey has to come crawling back to her so that she can get full control over him. Dastardly. To make matters worse, there's this charity that apparently she's been contributing to. I'm thinking of whose money. But anyway, contributing to. The important part with that is she wants to actually bring in one of the girls. She's like 18, right? Okay, legal. Bring in one of the girls, live with her, do another Melissa situation, try and get Jeffrey back into her house so that she can have this woman impregnated by Jeffrey so she can have that grandchild she's always wanted. She didn't say all of that, but the way how she was planning this out, I could see the evilness just spewing out. She is terrible. She's the worst. She is trash. She is garbage. She is desperate. Okay, what else? Let's talk about Wyatt and Jeffrey. And yeah, so Wyatt calls Jeffrey. Wyatt calls Jeffrey because Wyatt, this is a two-stage thing. Wyatt's under house arrest. He's still pissed about that. He's trying to go and find a way to get out of the room. That's not happening. So he calls Jeffrey, asks Jeffrey, hey, what's up? And Jeffrey, long story short, asked him, hey, did Justin go and do anything sexual to you? Or no, did you try and do anything sexual to Justin? Because that's what he said. He was like, no, that's not what happened. And I'm thinking, that's not what happened, but what were you gonna do? Were you gonna main his ding dong and take the drugs and get high? Like, I don't know. What I do know is he wants to go to the hospital because Jeffrey says, my father, he's in the hospital because my mother, well, because his car blew up, it caught on fire. It's like, oh, that was your mom. Like, everyone knows she's just that terrible of a person. And instead of saying, oh, I'm sorry for that, he goes and tries and moves on to the next thing. It's like, hey, hello, supposed to be my friend, right? Where's the condolences? But now he wants to go to the hospital. I'm thinking he wants to go to the hospital to visit your father? No, he wants to visit the pain medications, that IV drip. That's what he really wants. So then he goes downstairs and he tells Jim and Catherine that he wants to go and visit. Catherine has a smirk on her face because she's just like, she got her some, but they still have to deal with the fact that they didn't get the money back from Hannah. And Catherine said, don't worry, she's good for it. I trust her. It's like, well, I need to, and she said, dude, what are you going to do? What are you actually going to do? Okay, then. Now we have to deal with Wyatt. Wyatt wants to go to the hospital. Catherine's so dim-witted. She says, oh, well, he's been in that room all this time. He went from jail to that room. So why don't we just go and he'll have security? And they said, look, this only works because we don't have anything in this household. I'm thinking, did Catherine make sure she removed all of her pills and all that? Because he'll find something. You can't tell me Wyatt won't find something to use. The important thing in all of this is that Jim actually had the sense enough to say no. He wants to go to the hospital, not to visit David. That doesn't even sound right. He wants to go to get them drugs. So you know where he's going? Back upstairs. What's wrong with you, Catherine? Now, aside from that, we have Jim and Wyatt, Veronica, and Derek, and let's go to the bank. Yeah, let's go to the bank. So now we're at the bank, and Benny's over it. The woman's asking, okay, so what can I do you for? Oh, we're doing a transfer. I said, oh, okay. Here's the bank account we want the money routed to. Great. She opens up that account, looks at all them zeros, looks at them like, where the F did they get all this money from? And not only that, you want us to transfer all that money on hand? I'm going to have to go and get approval for that, because a lot of people don't realize that banks only have, each branch only has a certain amount of money to work with, and each day they're always transferring money out. So they need to make sure that, you know, potentially if they know a percentage on average people come transfer out. So if this amount is leaving the bank and this huge amount that we don't really have is being asked for, they need to get it covered. So she went to go and do that. Asked for Benny's ID, and Benny didn't want to give it up. Hannah's like, look, you better. So then he does. And she was just like, look, I'm trying to show you the right way how to do things. Don't go and try and get this get rich quick scheme because of your sister. The woman comes back in and says, oh, your daughter is here. So Candace is here, which, okay, fine. Candace is there. The problem with Candace being there is the fact that Candace is, oh my goodness, is conniving. She's conniving, and she's going first. Why did they allow her to go in? What if they weren't on good terms? That's the part that kind of irked me. I'm thinking, why was it just so, oh, okay, and yeah, your child's here. Normally you would go and ask or say, oh, I have to go and check, and then, you know, make up some lie or whatever. Because what if it was like her husband was there and he was abusive and like, anyway. So now Candace is in there, and Candace is being, you know, little loose for herself. And she's trying to go and convince Benny, hey, Benny, I'll split this money with you. $4 million. Why are you going to go and allow the Cryer family to go and just take this money? You can get your tow yard. You can do whatever you want. You can move out. You won't have to worry for nothing. I'm thinking, first off, if Hannah has to go and sign off on this because she was calling Candace Lucifer, the devil, devil's spawn, how dare you? She was going off. And it really looked like, because they're like, Benny, look at me, Benny, look at me, Benny. That's what both of them were doing to Benny. And he kept looking at Candace instead of looking at his mom, which had me wondering, this is a clear scene of when the angel versus the devil type of thing. That's exactly what they were trying to parallel with that moment. And I got it. I was just irked that Candace just doesn't seem to ever learn. But now it looks like Candace's plan may work, but it can't, because they both have to sign off on it. Benny and Hannah have to sign off on releasing the money. So that's why I'm pissed, because I'm trying to look at this like, why in the world would you believe your sister? I said, Benny, this is stupid. Why would you believe your sister, who has no power in this, who has no say in this, say that, oh, we can split 50-50. You can't split anything 50-50 unless your mother signs off on it. So you might as well give that money back. Now, I understand why he wouldn't be happy about giving that money back, because remember, the Criers screwed Benny over. If it wasn't for Catherine feeling so guilty, Benny probably would have been dead. Because Wyatt, who they currently have possession of his inheritance, was the one who ran over Benny and almost killed this kid. So now Benny is being told, oh, I have to do the right thing to someone that left me for dead, and someone who is based on his actions is the epitome of trash. You want me to do right by a person like that? So he didn't say that, but if I was him, that's what I would have told his mom. I would have said, oh, okay, here's what's not going to happen. I guess he's never going to get that money. I guess your relationship with her is never going to be the same unless you're going to use the money, because I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Heck no. That's a joke. I will have given back that money so fast because I don't want any problems. I don't want any problems. But if I was him, if I was stupid Benny, I would have at the very least said, I'm not signing anything. If I was him, if I was me, yeah, give that child his money back or whatever. I don't care. I don't want it. Leave me alone. Just leave me alone. He already has to deal with the Malones. And he's also told that the Malones still want their interest. So now I'm thinking, oh Lord, how's this gonna work? Because we don't see if he signs, because she comes back in and says, are we ready to sign? Hannah signs, but we don't see Benny sign. The last scene is Candace goes in her room, and because she's so used to people being in her room at this point, she was just like, oh, who's in my room? That's exactly how it was. Like, who's in my room this time? And it was Charles. And then she said, look, I'm going to call someone on you. I'm thinking you're going to call someone on the President of the United States. Because remember, that's what Charles is at this point. He's now the President of the United States, if you forgot. And he wants his girl. He wants his girl. He tells her, your phone's scrambled. Until this conversation is done, you're not going anywhere. So that's how the episode ends. Please like, comment, subscribe. Tonight, my review for Empire should be up by like 11:30 p.m. Eastern time. So of course that's 8:30 Pacific. And then Star maybe up in the early morning or like an hour or two after that. Greenleaf, How to Get Away with, and Greenleaf and American Horror Story, that may be more so the afternoon, Thursday afternoon, if not sooner. And then How to Get Away with Murder, most likely early Friday morning. And we should be done. And any music stuff. So cool. Thanks.